Whenever I talk, my wife falls asleep. So now when she can't sleep, I talk. It's like magic. Say she hasn't had a good night's sleep in a week, feels exhausted and lies down early in the evening, but begins to toss and turn. I just lie down beside her, prop my head up in one hand and say, "You know, I've been thinking." Immediately she calms down, finds a fetal posture, tucks her head under my arm. I know she lies dispersed, though in one body, claimed by rabble cares and the need to sleep. "Will you stay?" she asks. "I'm right here," I answer. "Now what were you saying?" she wonders, and so I talk. It isn't that lovers always meet in a garden, and already her eyes get that dizzy look like she can't focus. "Go ahead," I tell her, "close your eyes." "Okay," she says, "but keep talking." And so I do. It isn't that lovers always speak together in a house by the sea or in a room with shadows of leaves and branches on the walls and ceiling. It's that such spaces emerge out of the listening their speaking to each other engenders. I mean, maybe, and she sighs. Her breathing begins to slow, and I remember something I heard somewhere. Every so many breaths, a sigh. Every so many sighs, sleep. Or was it every so many sighs, death? I go on talking, now stroking her head, pushing her hair back from her forehead, clearing her bright brow and listening for the next sigh. Maybe the face-to-face true lovers enact manifests a prior coincidence of heaven and earth, or body and soul. Equal opposites exchanging the combining properties of perpetual transformation. Shore and not shore, sea and sky, room and a world, the gazer and the gazed upon. Little twitches run the length of her, beginning with her arms, then her legs, then her feet, as though tensions were being fired from her body. She mumbles the beginning of a word. I go on talking. Maybe the union of lovers is an instance of a primary simultaneity, timeless, from which arises the various shapes of time and duration. Arrival, departure, waiting, resuming, fountain, terrace, path, and eve. And maybe any world is born as offspring of the liaison between God and mind and mind's source. I count her second sigh, lower, longer. Or maybe God says, "I love you," and the whole universe, consciousness included, is a shape of that pronouncement. Maybe there's no you in that, but an I love, ringing, engendering all of space. Every quadrant and expression of God's first nature, I love. Or maybe a you arises as echo, the counter-ringing to the sovereign I love. And we're the you to the source's I, the second person to God's first personhood. Then, to surrender any sense of an I is to feel our true condition, a you before God, and to be seen. Being seen, the crowning experience and mystery of a you. Maybe too often we mistake the guest for the host, confusing the I and the you. And yet, maybe out of that confusion more worlds arise. By now, she's barely listening, if at all. I lower my voice and go on rambling, afraid she'll wake if I stop too soon. Maybe the love of God amounts to the beloved returning the lover's gaze. And out of that look and looking back, all of our notions of space, home, distance, beginning, end, recurrence, death, debt, fruition, number, weight emerge. All our issue of that meeting between lover and lover, our soul's intercourse with what it loves. By now her jaw has gone slack, her fingers loose where earlier they were clenching the edge of the blanket, and I'm almost whispering. Maybe it's true what sages have said. I don't know if I'm remembering it right, something about moving up a ladder of love. Maybe we learn to love a person as an object, then as presence, then as essence, then as disclosure of the divine. Or maybe all at the same time, or discovering over time each deeper aspect to be true. And maybe our seeing it in another proves that face inside ourselves. Oh, I don't know. You sleep now. And then I stop talking, kiss her forehead, and wait a minute before leaving the bed and closing the door behind me.